BW Fusion is going to sell what works, or we ain't messing it. We ain't dicking with it. It's not worth the farmer's time. It's not worth our time to go out here and act like we know how this thing works or that thing. We're going to have just data, black and white proof. The farmer needs this information more when corn's $3, because when corn's $3, you have 5 precious little $1 bills that you have to invest. You cannot invest anymore. And you have to put each one in that's going to get you the max ROI back out.
There is a podcast in Iowa, Farm4Profit was named by they. They stirred up a banker near, then quick came an auctioneer. Making profit was their first goal, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Soon may the farmers come to bring us guests and beer and fun. One day when the recording's done, we'll take our mics and go. These formats shook us to our core. With Farm4Fun, you will not snore. The banker set all mics to on, and the mullet of podcasts was born. Soon may the farmers come to bring us guests and beer and fun. One day when the recording's done, we'll take our mics and go. Before we knew, conversations grew, growing corn even said F you. So won't you join Tanner, Dave, Corey, and crew? Please like, share, review. Soon may the farmers come to bring us guests and beer and fun. One day when the recording's done, we'll take our mics and go.
You aren't Farm4Fun if you didn't get your request played during TRL.
All right, welcome back to another Farm4Fun episode of the Farm4Profit podcast. This is Tanner Winterhoff.
This is Corey Hillebo.
And this is David Whitaker.
Thank you so very much for joining us. We really appreciate you coming back and grabbing another one of these. This is the Farm4Fun format. We got a couple of beers to try today, a couple of really cool guests to share with you. Next week will be that profit show with a What's Working in Ag segment. We will jump in with another topic, a challenge to help your farm achieve higher levels of profitability. But we're going to kick back and have a good one this time, Corey.
Yeah. You know, coming to you today from Seattle, I think.
It is a little wet out there.
It is just it's been a pure mist and cloudy for like, I don't know, last 2 or 3 days. Not really much for rain to speak of, just kind of not much for sun. And
it looks like it's going to be that way in the future, too.
Yep. Well, I think we've got some heat coming in, though. So that's good.
Right.
Which, by the time this comes out, we had some heat.
Right? We had some heat.
How's that go?
Is that a new hat? I like that hat.
It's actually one of the originals.
Oh, my.
Yeah, it's out of the archives, one of the originals.
Fair enough.
That is sharp.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, thank you for sharing this podcast and telling your friends about it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like. We want to acknowledge you. So today's Head of the Class listener review is brought to you by Gearinghoff. They're head of the class no matter the crop. Premium harvesting heads for all your harvesting needs. Our listener reviews are exactly what we need to have the energy to do these fun shows, and Gearinghoff is exactly what you need to maximize your harvest each year.
Andy Pastor? Here he says, I love cats too.
Oh,
laugh out loud.
That's really not that great of a review, is it? Because I don't like cats.
What's it mean?
Yeah, it had to be about Sammy's episode.
Oh, that's what it was about.
Meow.
Okay, context.
That's what it is. And another one, it was great. I loved it. Brooke Mall, is that how that is? At Brooke M. Mall.
Ah, that's Brooke Doyle.
Ah, Brooke.
Yes, thank you so much for leaving those behind. And remember, if you don't use Ag Leader, you probably should. They've got a solution for every season. Their products and solutions help you integrate your entire farm all year round. Use their products to seamlessly connect your equipment and tasks, so that way your operation runs more efficiently than ever before.
Well,
what are we going to talk about today?
I think we've got a couple of really fun people. Should we get into that?
Waiting for Tanner.
Shut up and sit down.
Need some help. In today's Mullet of Ag Farm4Fun podcast, we travel to a little town called Fonda, Iowa, where we chat with a power couple that creates the W portion of BW4 Fusion, Tanner and Dave. Let me give you a little overview about what these guys do. How do you guys feel about in-house convenient financing? Tanner, don't answer that. Dave? Sounds good, doesn't it?
It sounds great.
How about a place that provides chemicals, fertilizers, seed treatments, and biologicals all delivered to your farm?
That sounds awesome.
Sounds awesome.
And if that wasn't enough, how about 24/7 UAN loadout, equipment rental, approved contracted applicators, aerial spraying, and seeding?
What do they not do?
All while providing you great service, keeping overhead low, and the cost even lower.
And that's just the B.
No,
You're
that's
just
gotta be
in
you.
luck. You're in luck, guys, because today we have Grant and Michelle Wells of Wells Ag Supply. Welcome to the show.
All right.
Going.
So how bad did we butcher that?
Oh, it's, you did all right. I see you got a lot of beers on the table, so.
Not
They're
open.
not even open
None
yet.
of them are opened.
Oh,
One.
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Welcome. How's everything up there in Northwest Iowa?
Things are pretty good. It was a nice, easy spring, but we all wish we could have a little more rain.
Did you consider that Northwest Iowa? I mean, it's like just northwest of Fort Dodge.
Yep, 4 counties over, 3 down. It's definitely Northwest
Okay.
Iowa.
All right, that's good because I about said North Central. The only reason being is because when I used to work up there, I covered North Central, and that was like right on the edge of my territory. So,
But, Wells is everywhere, so.
it is. How big is your guys' territory?
Well, I don't really have a territory yet. We go where people need help, and we don't let miles slow us down. So really, we're in 9 different states every week seems like, and so we don't really have a territory.
I will say that I got some stuff from them this year working with Brody and Bodie, and they brought me some stuff down on a Friday. I thought everything came because I didn't know exactly what all was coming, and then great communication. And then Monday, I got a call from the same truck driver, and he was like, "Hey, I got another delivery for you." I'm like, "You didn't bring it all Friday?" He's like, no, something wasn't in. So they literally sent another whole 53-foot semi right back for like a partial pallet of stuff. I thought it was pretty cool.
That's service.
Yeah.
So then, Grant and Michelle, could you tell our listeners a little bit what you guys do on a daily basis? What are your roles within Wells Ag?
Yeah, with this the W side of VW as well as Ag. I'm the owner CEO. I wear a lot of hats, obviously, day in, day out. But me specifically, I'm probably more into sales, procurement, helping the team push them to the top of the hill, motivate them, jack everybody up, get everybody going. The big cheerleader sometimes, and pull the kind of the glue that pulls the team together here out of the Fonda location. So Michelle. She does a lot of our, I'll let you talk, but she does our biological fermenting here for the western side of BW. So
She's the bugs in the jug.
yeah, she's the doctor that brewed him and put him in the jug for you.
Are you really a doctor, Michelle?
Yeah, he shouldn't have said that. I'm not.
We should run with it.
Dr. Wells, rest of the call.
She has a lab coat. So.
Oh. That's fancy. I want to go back. So how did Wells Ag Supply even get started? Like go back and say how, what was it in your mind that made you want to do this?
Oh boy. Is this an hour-long podcast?
Take all the time you want.
Grew up a local farm kid, looked up to my grandpa, my dad, and, generations of farmers, and dad was also raised hogs, and in the 90s, he got into selling chemicals on the side for some sideline income. That company is Farm Advantage. They went belly up in 07, 08, right in there. But anyway, he's doing that, pigs and farm. I remember growing up, I'm going to do what dad does, and didn't really discover myself yet, though, on what maybe I was good at. I had a lot of success in high school as a football player back in 2002 through 2004. I graduated in 04 from high school, but it was pretty good at football. I had great success there and knew I wanted to be in agriculture. So I went ahead and got a degree at SMSU, Marshall, Minnesota, in agronomy, ag biz, and marketing, along with a football scholarship. So went up there, and college football, it's like a full-time job. Football videos and then classes and trying to balance all that. And my dad wasn't one to just say, "Oh yeah, here's another couple $1,000 for you to go blow on the weekend," right? So I had to find a job that I could do on my time for us to get paid the most per hour. So I found a job selling Cutco cutlery. Have you heard of that?
Oh
stuff?
yeah. At like the state fair.
So it's great product. So basically doing that, I became really good. I had a lot of success at sales. So I really found myself in that I love selling, helping people through sales. And so I was really kind of looking back at what dad was doing, and more, I was prepping myself to come home, and I kind of zeroed in a little bit further on his dealership. He had selling chemicals on the side, and so I got looking at that, and I'm going, okay, and maybe I'll get an internship and see if there's anything more I can learn about this, because the commissions that Dad would make weren't enough to support me as well. And it wasn't really scalable because there was dealers every 4, 5, 6 miles. So I went ahead and got a dealership at a local co-op up there in Minnesota, and I got to kind of peek behind the curtain and see the backdoor egg retail. And I remember coming out of there and eyes wide open and calling Dad and going, we're going independent. We're not going to be a dealer anymore. We're going to go independent, and this is what I want to do. And, young guy, right? 20 years old, jacked up. And obviously Dad was probably like, okay, son, you come home, you can do that. So, I was full piss and vinegar and wanting to dive into that a minute I graduated. Well, then kind of a bad thing happened to our family. Dad got killed in a farming accident in 2007 before I graduated college. And so it kind of forced me to grow up quick, forced me to, I had to quit football, quit Cutco, and just kind of keep the wheels on the bus at home with my family's farm operation. I don't really have any, I didn't have any family members involved, no uncles or anything like that. So just my mom and a hired man. And so I can remember, right around the time Dad passed away, and then a lot of the local men of the community, they're trying to help mentor me somewhat. And they just said, Grant, it's all right. I can remember a specific farmer pulling in the yard. He said, you ever heard that song? It's okay to be itty bitty. Something like a country song. Yeah. And I remember yeah, I do, but that don't resonate with me. What I grew up with was power washing hog barns every other weekend, going to football, as a tweener. I was an in-betweener. I wasn't big enough for lineman and not fast enough for linebacker, but yet I started, as captain of the weightlifting teams, my freshman year. So I'm the type of guy that, I'm an underdog. I grab myself by the bootstraps and just keep going. So, so kind of took what Dad did, and you got to be an independent. So learned a lot of lessons along the way. The business is very political. It's too bad that it is. A lot of farmers today don't really know that, their local cooperative that they own part of, stake in, intentionally puts their thumb on people that rise up to put their thumb on them with their leverage and their sales capacity to try to push them out, right? So, we got some relationships started. I had a chemical company, Dow AgriScience, and a distributor, Van D Supply to Webster City, that were willing to back me up. And I had a local young banker who, it was his first day on the job, and he was fresh to find new customers. He happened to just pull down my lane as well, so it was all kind of came together. And over the span of multiple years of me proving myself, more and more and more of the politics went away. As BSF Bayer, Syngenta, Corteva realized, this Wells Ag Company, they're different, and they provide a lot of value to the customer. They care about the customer, and this is somebody that we need to support out here.
Well, you missed the boat there, Tanner.
Yeah.
Not pulling down the lane.
I was clearly not the young banker that pulled down the lane.
Yeah,
I called a couple years later. No,
yeah.
That's cool. So now, how big is Wells Ag now? How many employees do you guys have?
Well, 42 or 3 employees. We've got many different states, and
cool.
So I would say, try to put a scope on it. I think we're close to around the largest independent in Iowa, and some of the chemical manufacturers were one of their largest in Iowa that what we deal with. We got into fertilizers in 2008 and 9. We kept getting the farmer politely saying, hey, your corn pre-merge products, we'd like to buy them from you, but you don't have custom application and liquid fertilizer. And so in 08, 09, if you remember, I call it the fiscal cliff of farming, the corn price, because in 08, July 08, corn was $8, and it was December, it was $3. And in the fertilizer industry, a lot of the conventional retailers buy a lot of their fertilizers in July, so it was kind of at the peak of everything. And the farmers don't really buy their stuff till December. So when they were getting ready to purchase their products in that December, they were running into a lot of, our 32% price is $800, and they couldn't cash flow that. And so we built a lot of trust over the years, just giving the right recommendations and not jeopardizing, our integrity, and really having their best interest in mind. And a lot of them coming to us going, hey, can you help us? We can't cash flow this. Right. And it was a door opening for me, and I could see that the nitrogen price had actually dropped way down, and so we went ahead and invested in that business that year and put poly tanks up all over. Heck, it was February 09, cold dead of winter. And I remember sleeping at the desk, sleeping in the truck, hauling poly tanks, setting them up and filling them up with nitrogen. And that really was where we got our big break. Farmers they were emotional that year. Their local places they had been trusted in and to be a partner. They had $800 nitrogen when it was $300 at the terminal. So, and they expected the farmer to pay for their bad decisions. So a lot of the farmers were like, you know what? I'm exiting completely from this. I want whatever you're selling, Grant. We like you. We want your chemicals. We want your seed treatments. We want your aerial application. We want everything you've got because we like what you're all about.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, we're about ready to jump into our first beer of the episode. So, guys, we're going to give this first one a try. Dave, what is our first beer?
So, thanks to Dole on this, Back Pocket Brewing. Iowa Vibes is what this one's called. It's a sour ale.
Sour ale. Iowa Vibe.
Iowa Vibe.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
Grant,
Sour Patch Kids.
I mean,
like
I know
that.
you said
See?
sour, but man.
I like that, to tell you the truth.
Grant, Michelle, you guys like sour beers?
Oh.
I do. I'm jealous. If I had known you guys were going to be drinking, I would have brought a beer of my own.
Well, that's on Brody.
What the heck, Brody?
Yeah, you're going to have to jump on Brody for
You
that
guys
one.
get, I mean, what? It's only like an hour and a half. You could have came down.
Yeah.
Wow, that is... I'm trying to think of what's causing the sour. It's not a pineapple. It's
tangerine.
Oh, tangerine.
Yep. Tangerine Sour Ale.
Iowa Vibes by Back Pocket.
I had,
All right.
I had one thing wrote down. $2,000 a weekend. Yeah, you needed to find something to support that. That was,
$2,000 a weekend.
You said a couple $1,000 a weekend.
You're in college.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a lot of knives to sell.
Yeah. I ended up, I don't know, I think I ended up graduating college paying most of my own college debts off just selling knives. It was pretty fun. Pretty fun experience. But.
So, Michelle, when did you come into the picture?
Do I get to answer this?
Do I get to answer this?
Dr. Wells.
That's the start of the show.
Dr. Wells?
Speaking of that, Grant and I met in college. We were born the same year, but I'm a year older in school. So I'd been there a whole year. And in Minnesota, soccer's in the fall. I played soccer. So soccer players and football players come into school early for preseason before any of like the college students come around. So having been there a year, the freshman football players that came were fresh meat. No, I actually didn't even really know his name until he was a sophomore. But we met in college. So I've been around since the beginning. I got to know his dad before the accident and everything like that. I've been here since Wells Egg started. I don't technically work for Wells Egg Supply anymore, but if you can believe it, in the beginning, I worked in the office with Grant. I did accounting for a year. Then we got an accountant, started up the software program we still use to this day. Then for a year, I worked in the warehouse. And if you can believe it, I loaded pallets, stacked pallets, drove a forklift, filled totes. Then for a couple years, I helped in fertilizer. Then Grant was really blowing up, and I went and worked at an ethanol plant and left Wells Egg for a little bit. And BW Fusion was brewing in the background the whole time with Biodyne. Realized how great Biodyne is and their products are, and we got big enough to ferment here, or have the need to ferment here in our location because of the sales. And I had made enough of a relationship with some of the other people working for Biodyne and some of my work ethic around here that I guess I was convincing enough to say, hey, let me do that.
Uh-huh.
She left out the best part. So the reason I approached her in college, obviously she's very pretty, but her maiden name is Wells. So we're not related. I looked it up online. I was hoping maybe Jay Leno could pay for our wedding or something. Wells, Iowa wedding. But her dad's actual name is Tom. So same as my dad. Is totally weird.
Wow,
no
that's
relation,
weird.
but
That's like West Virginia type stuff.
Alabama.
Alabama.
I was.
Oh, it was meant to be from the beginning.
Yes.
So you call it fermenting. I wrote down brewing. Are those?
Well, brewing is so much more fun to say.
I was
right?
just gonna ask.
Here,
So
yeah.
do you think that you could make beer with your setup, or is it not interchangeable?
I think we're good.
well, and actually what I've been asked is if I could make whiskey.
Oh.
Yes, we love whiskey. I like this. Let's do it.
Custom whiskey barrels made with our corn.
Yeah, you'd have to talk to the salesman. They'd have to quit selling so much. They're pretty much always full of bacteria fermenting. So.
Or you just have to get more salesmen and more equipment.
There you go.
No.
Not unless I get some help.
Brewing beer could be a lot more fun.
I would brew beer for sure. I think whiskey smells like feet, but I'd brew beer.
So on the Biodyne side, you brought that. How did that come into the picture? You said good things about it. Where did they come from?
Basically, I have a lot of farmer customers that really trust our opinion, and they really trust what we have to think about a topic. And I actually had heard Monsanto was investing in biologicals. It was a thing I got tipped off, kind of on the background that it was going to get launched 5-6 years from the point they're investing. And I just got thinking about that, like, wow, 5-6 years from now, there's going to be, Monsanto BioAg, and there's going to be some large, people that are validating the market, maybe supporting this. And, I'm the last guy that likes to have a deer in the headlight look. I like to be on the front end of everything. And, I really just looked at it and said, I've got these acres that I farm. Why can't I start doing the R&D now? Because none of this stuff is regulated by the EPA. So we have, the only way for me to answer this question to the farmers, especially in Northwest Iowa and Iowa, is, I tried it and for this many years, and no, it didn't work, or yes, it did. And so I went on a hunt to find all the biologicals, around that were present at the time, and went to testing them. And, Biodyne rose at the top. I found Biodyne. It was, again, another door open. I got meant to be type thing. Biodyne, you probably know about them. They're a family company. The uncle is the microbiologist. Been doing this for a long time. They're not backed by venture capital money. They have good business ethics and really, really good product. So I put it to the test, and, it worked, and then got it to some early adopter farmers. It worked for them, and it just kept building. And over the span of 4, 5, 6 years before Monsanto even launched Monsanto BioAg, and we had a full-on carte blanche effort of rolling with it. So it really kind of got us on the edge of that, and it really just started with wanting to either debunk it or say, yeah, it's worthwhile. And
I feel like that's another one of those meant to be connections, like you mentioned. It starts with Michelle, and then now also with the growth of Wells Ag.
Well, and Michelle didn't tell you, the BW Fusion was actually something she blurted out one night, when we were hanging out with Gil. How about BW Fusion for a name? We were thinking about making another company together, and that's it. Michelle again came up with the names.
Well, I tell you what, it's already been really valuable to us. We've really enjoyed the partnership on the podcast with BW Fusion, but already what you've laid out for us in the first 20-some minutes of this episode is really clarifying how the company started, where it all came from, because we've enjoyed our time with both Brody Benton and Bodie Kitchell on the episodes, but even then, it's so hard in a limited time frame to get the whole connection of how this whole thing started and the direction of service and what the goal and missions are behind it. So I think this is going to help tell that story a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, so we have the biologicals. Wells has this customer base that really, trusts us because we do care about their needs, and we care about never lying to them. We want to share the truth with them. And, so I've always had this deep down passion to figure out the rest of it, in corn and soybean production, the micronutrient side of it, the nutrition. Up to this point, Wells Ag has all of these people coming through their doors and wanting us to sell their nutritionals, and no one's been able to put it together as far as a roadmap for how much zinc you should apply, what type of zinc you should apply, when you should apply it, what tissue score should your zinc be. And so I was trying to dig in on this stuff on my own farms and some farmers' farms, trying to develop this data. And, you can imagine it'd take a lifetime. So I'm doing that, and Gil approaches me and says, hey, Grant, we understand too that this thing is more than just biology. Biology is a big factor, but there's not just one product that's going to get us to the next level in yield, or one product that's going to fix all issues in a field. We know that there's more to it. And so he came to me, and I said, well, Gil, I'm already working on this. And I said, here's my goals. My goals are to, figure out these targets for farmers and lead them down the right path, and pull this stuff together and make it easy, and kind of a roadmap for them. And Gil says, why don't we do that together? And I thought about that. If you meet Gil, he gets on here, me and him are a lot alike. So that's good, but it can be bad. You put us in a room, we kind of bounce off each other.
Sure.
But I'm like, you know what? He's 3 states away. Perfect. Let's do this together. And we did. That was BW Fusion. And no more than first 6 months or 4 months of getting started, another door opened, right? And Mr. Bodie Kitchell walked through that door. And you guys have met Bodie. You know him. He's a great stand-up guy. Ethics are number one. Won't lie to get a sale either. All these followers and people he consults, because, again, people trust him as well. And so he found Gil. He said, Gil, all my customers and people that I talk to were also asking me, hey, what do you think of these biologicals? You're validated in what you say with this, or we believe in what you say, And so he went and found all these different biologicals, tried them, and Biodyne rose to the top again. And he went and found Gil and said, Gil, your product's the best in the nation. Tell me about it. I'd like to tell more of my consultant customers about it. And Gil, sharp guy, he latches on to Bodie and he calls me. He said, Grant, we need to hire Bodie. He's all this knowledge and all these followers, and he loves Biodyne, and so do you, and he'd be great. And I said, all right, let's have an interview. And so I'm kind of, getting ready to get in the interview and got my big list of questions. And real quick, it came clear that Bodie knew way more than I knew when it came to agronomy and how a plant, works. And so I went into, instead of, interviewing him, I went into selling myself, right, and into him. And so did Gil. I'm texting Gil. I'm like, sell yourself, So it took 5 interviews, of Bodie interviewing us. And, so Bodie's the type of guy that he doesn't need a job. He's only going to work for the right company. He's not going to be, dangled a big flashy carrot and jump around. Like he's going to nestle in where he can, believe in the ethics and the principles. And so one of the things, that I told Bodie right away was BW Fusion is going to sell what works, or we ain't messing it. We ain't dicking with it. And, it's not worth the farmer's time. It's not worth our time to go out here and act like we know how this thing works or that thing. We're going to have just data, black and white proof. And I want to build these targets and where zinc and manganese and boron needs to be. And he was kind of grinning in the, a little bit, basically he had all that stuff put together, and I'm going, all right, and he agrees to work for us. And he, with one exception, we get to utilize the 365 soil and tissue platform as the backbone of everything we're doing. And so with that information tool, we had some proprietary things I had built. Gil had some stuff he was getting built. We had some other stuff get built. And we started building out this product line that basically targets all of the macros and micros, tissue, and also the soil scores as well. And so with the targets in mind and the products now that'll get us there, we now just need to tell the story. There's some high yield farmers out here that aren't from Iowa, from different states, that have won some of the national contests. And, if you pay them $10,000, they might give you a little snippet of information, and they're not willing to share the rest of the story. Who knows if they really know the rest of the story for Iowa soils? We have 25 to 30 CEC soils, and some of these other areas that are winning the national records are like 1 to 2 CEC soils. Yeah. So, what Fusion wants to do is with 365, we have the targets for any yield goal, and we have the roadmap of how to get there.
Right.
So we've identified all the different products to get you there. So that is what's different. I get so jacked up, and I just want to help everybody and show them that what we've learned from the 60-year-old fertility is it's not all wrong, but it's not all right either.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there's other areas to look at.
So does it ever get old listening to it, Michelle?
Honestly, no, because Grant talks all day, every day to everyone, and I don't work for Wells Ag anymore. I work for BW Fusion, so I'm not near his office or anything. So
right.
Sometimes when I get to hear him talk like that, some of the stuff he says might be the first time I've heard it.
Oh, nice. Well, how about this? How about for the first time, we're going to try the Back Pocket Brewing
Slingshot Dunkel.
Slingshot Dunkel. This is a darker one, Dave.
I don't think this is the first time we've had this.
Yeah. It's Dunkel.
This is good.
Smooth.
It'd be interesting to dig up. I'm pretty sure we had this on a show before to hear our reviews.
Just see if Dave didn't like it.
This kind of reminds me of like an Amber Bock. Like it's a easier drinking dark beer.
Got a roasted smell.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a roasted smell to it.
Thank you, Dole Distributing. 5.3 alcohol. Oh, and we're tracking IBUs now.
Oh, that's right.
22 IBUs for those that are keeping score at home. What kind of gets my head spinning about all these microbes and biologicals and all this stuff, like you guys are saying, is there is so many companies and so many options out there. But it's pretty cool that the cream kept rising to the top for you guys. And one thing I wanted to point out was when we started talking to Brody,
Yep.
corn was under $4, pretty sure. And we were excited about biologicals and microbes and all that stuff now. And now corn's $7 and $6 and all this stuff. So it just magnifies all these other companies, but you guys were doing it economically when, it wasn't that economical for us. So, I mean, it's pretty cool to see that.
People have said that to me. Grant, how lucky is it that you launched this company and now corn's gone to $6? It doesn't faze me because the farmer needs this information more when corn's $3. Because when corn's $3, you have 5 precious little $1 bills that you have to invest. You cannot invest anymore. And you have to put each one in that's going to get you the max ROI back out. And so if you blindly, put $1 in and not really know on the other end, you just go off history and what you're used to, but if you can use 365 soil and tissue to now show, well, wait a minute, you were going to put your dollar over here in this one, but you really needed to put it here. So it's the power of the information to really help steer where to actually put the dollar. So this whole program, the 365 infusion, is also, it's not about raising 400 bushel corn. It is about trying to raise 200 bushel corn as absolutely most efficiently and effective and cost affordably as possible. That's the key why people need it in $3 corn. And we found, for instance, with one of the teams of biology, we had a farmer with 30 to 40 part per million of phosphorus in the soil, and we had a guy that had 10. They had the same pH. They planted corn the same day. The gentleman with 10 part per million of phosphorus in the soil used one of the Biodyne biologicals, which has 6 phosphorus stabilizers in it. He had a higher phosphorus tissue all year long than the guy that had 30 to 40. So there's a great situation where it showed that, okay, MAP and DAP, I don't know if you guys have checked the prices today, but it's like $600 and some dollars a ton. It's probably $40, $50 an acre just to throw a removal rate of phosphorus out there. And we just showed for, $10 investment, you could actually have higher phosphorus, in the plant. And, that there's a lot there that's not getting in the plant. And so that's the power of the information. This information tool is going to revolutionize how fertilizers are done. I absolutely believe it. Give it 10 years. It's all going to come back to the 365 platform being kind of one of the main drivers of it.
Well, we try to be selective on the partners for the podcast because we don't want to put something out there that makes us look foolish either. So we applaud what you guys have done so far in really putting that together. And then thank you again for partnering with the podcast. We've learned a lot about the business side, but our listeners always like to learn a little bit on the personal side about our guests. Why don't we play a little bit of a version of the Newly Wed game?
Oh, boy.
And see just how well you guys know each other. So,
boy.
Who has the better in-laws?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Right now, Grant's thinking he got the better end of the deal.
Yeah, I got the better deal, actually.
It's a hard question to answer. There are ones that I think Grant lucked out with my parents, and his family's been really, really open and welcoming to me. And I think that we actually have a really good relationship on either side of us with our in-laws. Truly.
All right, that was the easy question.
What's Grant? Does Grant agree?
Oh yeah, yep.
Who would you love to meet one day?
Who do I think Grant would love to meet?
Yep.
You bet.
Donald Trump.
Is that right?
Sure.
See, not getting the answers early. Like he could just agree to everything, and he chooses where he sleeps tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
So who is Grant's celebrity crush?
Oh my gosh. I'm not even...
Good luck with answering that one.
I don't know. Aniston? I have no idea.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Jennifer Aniston?
That's not a bad choice.
That wouldn't have been a bad choice.
Who is it, Grant?
Angelina Jolie.
Oh,
Yeah, right. Angelina Jolie.
Another good
Wow.
choice.
Tomb Raider.
Nice. Okay, so if Grant could only eat one more meal for dinner for the rest of his life, the same meal for the rest of his life, what would he eat?
A ribeye with maybe some shrimp, probably like a loaded baked potato,
A little surf and turf.
and some sort of vegetable, and definitely dessert.
What's for dessert?
Bullet diet.
Bourbon and diet.
I like it.
Yeah.
Was ribeye right?
Yeah. Steak and whiskey. There you go. It's pretty simple.
One more. Would you rather be rich or famous?
Well, he?
Yeah.
I don't think either, to be honest.
Is she right?
Yeah, neither. Just like some security in life, and don't really give a crap after that. I just have fun every day, get up and go at it, and expose the truth and help farmers. And if they're successful, I'll be successful. I don't really care to take credit for anything that good that goes on, and I just kind of do my thing and help people out. And it's not really me to be on these podcasts.
Well, you guys are doing pretty good so far. So now, Grant, what is Michelle's guilty pleasure?
Dark chocolate.
By the smile, I'm
she's
guessing
smiling.
that's right.
When did Michelle realize that you were the one?
These are great.
Probably when I had my shirt off in the training room.
Oh. I'm guessing by the laugh that wasn't it.
We shared a training room, that's soccer and football.
Is he right?
No. It wasn't based on looks, but I don't know. We've been together since he was 19 and I was 20, so I don't know. The lines are a little blurred anymore.
Okay. If you could have unlimited access to any store, which store would it be? Casey's.
Probably Zulily and well, I see the damn things come through all the time. Amazon, Zulily, and
No, an
Louis
actual,
Vuitton.
an actual physical store.
Oh, physical store.
What is Zulily?
I
I have no idea. So I see it on emails all the time.
just get the emails.
A physical store. Louis Vuitton. She likes to go in there and gawk at purses.
You got a lot of those. You got a lot of those up in Fonda.
No.
No.
So what, Michelle? What would be your answer?
I have no idea where the Louis Vuitton thing came from, but it would just be Target.
I was gonna say that's like the canned woman.
So should we hit Grant with one more?
Go for it.
Who would she love to meet one day?
Anybody from the U.S. soccer team.
Oh, really? Male or female?
Female.
Yeah, she said she played soccer. That
I would
makes
take either
sense.
one, but yeah, preferably a female. Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. I did not expect that.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah,
So
I
we
come
done with
the World Cup season. Yeah, Michelle is just buried in the DVR.
Goal.
Yeah. I still don't know how you even how they even keep score. It's I just kind of go down to the basement and watch a hunting show.
Soccer's come a long ways.
What kind of hunting
Especially in the
shows you watch?
What's that?
Any certain game you like to hunt?
I like big game. I like to hunt. Like to go out west and Alaska and kind of all that stuff. Been on a lot of different hunts. They're all a little different, but going out this fall on a buffalo bison hunt out in central Utah. So
Oh boy.
yeah, you ride in on horses and straight up John Wayne style. So
Dave's from Montana, so he gets some of that.
yep.
You guys go out elk hunting every year, right?
You bet. Yeah, I'm heading out chase a bull here in September.
Is there moose out there?
There is. Yep.
You ever hunt moose?
I have not, but I've had moose when I was elk hunting that I thought was an elk coming in. And it turns out it's a big old deep bellied.
Whoops.
Yep.
Yeah, I killed a couple of elk out in Nevada that were great elk. There's a landowner out there that was able to buy a tag from California, Nevada.
You archery or do you rifle hunt?
Well, I'm rifle. I like to archery hunt for deer in Iowa here. They're in the rut's fun, but I'm kind of I like to kind of check them off and have a good chance of winning. So yeah, I got the rifle. They're kind of long range guns. I don't know if you here at Wells Ag. If you come here and you look straight out east, I got targets all the way lined out to 1,000 yards. So We like to shoot long range, and the red stag we got here, I think, is 670-yard shot.
Oh boy!
Wow.
Yep.
I need to stop up there with the 6mm bench rest and
There you go.
play some 1,000-yard range. That'd be cool.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Should we tip back the last beer of the day from Dole Distributing?
Yep. And then I have a ground-breaking question about work.
Ground breaking.
No, I guess it's eating at me. It's actually for Michelle.
Back
But let's try
Pocket Brewing. This is the Bubba Hazy IPA. Guaranteed to be one of David's favorites.
Nope.
Hazy IPA.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. 30 IBUs, 6.1 alcohol by volume.
Bubba.
The Bubba. Again, thank you, Dole Distributing, for putting this in here. This is definitely a hazy. Comes a little bit hazy in the glass as you pour it out. But that's a very drinkable IPA.
Yep. So my question comes back to the biologicals and not about the actual products themselves, but how you make them and brewing them. Like all the way down to the raw materials, like sourcing, like all that kind of stuff. Like I know like the herbicides, a lot of the salts and everything come from China and everything. How do we even figure this stuff out, and what's the process without giving any trade secrets away and all that kind of stuff, so we don't have people bootlegging biologicals around here? What's the process?
Well, I am not a doctor, but there is a guy with a PhD and over 30 years experience behind it all. And it's really his plan and his design. And he, through Biodyne, has perfected the technique. And we just kind of got the equipment here. And they told us what they've been doing and that it's been working. And so we do that here. So I wasn't part of any of that process. I follow their process. And yeah, really, I can't tell you a whole lot of it, to be honest. But
I mean, so are you just like getting like these semi-loads of these bugs and then you're fermenting, like growing more colonies? Is that how that works? Or, I mean,
we certainly don't get them in semi-loads. There is a Biodyne lab in Florida where the really cool stuff takes place and the biologicals come from there. And what I'm doing here is basically just making the bacteria really happy in an environment that they can grow and reproduce in at a massive rate because it's ideal for them. And then they just reproduce at a really high rate for a certain amount of time.
And then you have a lab or something there on site that you can test and be like, yep, that's the amount of the bugs that we want in there for that product and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we have a lot of quality control. I take a whole bunch of samples, and there is a little bit of quality control I do here. And then most of the R&D that takes place in Florida, they get samples and they do stuff. And then there's also at our Fort Wayne facility, PWQs in Fort Wayne does a lot more testing there as well. So we're constantly testing our product. We know exactly what's in it before it leaves.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure BTO of biological feedlots.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't Biodyne. I mean, they were doing stuff like out of ag and like oil cleanups and spills like well before all the ag stuff, right?
So do you have any rant today? I figured your rant would be on oil products or gas prices. Or
No, I don't have any rants today. I mean, I see people, Trump, Trump's not in office, and now look at our gas prices and all that. But I mean, I don't know. The last time we had $7 corn was the last time we had $4 gas. I just kind of expect it a little bit. It helps ethanol. I know that.
I saw a tweet the other day that was sure could go for a mean tweet and $1.90 gas.
$1.90 gas again.
I don't know. Yeah, I've just been in a good mood.
Yeah.
So
wow, this is rare to not have a rant, not have something to go.
I know.
And you're not even mad because it rained today at the zoo because you want it to rain.
No, everything's kind of caught up. We're kind of just caught in between planting and spraying and kind of getting stuff ready. So it's just.
I have a rant today.
Go.
Fire it.
And it is exactly what Grant was talking about. He's like doing the right thing for the right person. So we have cattle and we live right close to the vet school. So we were calving a cow this morning. And every time, I don't know how many most people have for calves that they have to pull or calves that they have to, do a C-section on. But my wife manages our cattle herd. She's all about birth weights, all about calving ease, all about the EPDs. And yet every freaking cow we have, we ends up going to the vet school or the vet has to get called. And so most mobile vets will come out and they'll pull the calf, right?
Yep.
So any old boy vet from all across Iowa, they'd come out and they'd pull the calf. But we live right here near Ames, Iowa. And so it's all these younger vet students that come out with the mobile intensive care or whatever you want to call it. They come out, oh, we got to take this to vet school. Like, why? Let's pull the calf. Nope, we got to do a C-section. I think we live a little too close to the vet school that they all want to do a C-section, because I think we've done C-sections on 5 cows here in the past 2 years, and I'm thinking we're just a little too aggressive at, let's just try a C-section
Just
here.
pull the calf.
Yeah.
I do have a question on Iowa State's vet med.
Yeah.
deal. And I went to Iowa State, big Iowa State fan. Had a buddy that had to put down a 13-month-old dog this last week.
Yeah.
Had some kidney thing or something or whatever. I mean, they get it in there and they just start racking up the bills. Hey, it's going to be $1,800 for this and $2,000 for that. If we keep them till 6 a.m, it's going to be another $1,600. It's like, how? I mean, I get like you got to pay for stuff, but they wanted to do a scan,
Yeah.
a CT scan or something like that. I get it. You got to have the drugs, put them, make them probably go to sleep so they sit still and all that. But like, they already got the equipment and they wanted $2,000 some for that. But they're learning
That's how they make
at the same time.
that's how they make their money. But I told
Right. Somebody else is paying tuition.
Yeah.
I told the vet, I says, this is bovine, man. I'll go to the doggone auction barn. I'll just buy another one. If this is going to be more than $1,500, just put her down, because I'll go buy another one. People don't do that with dogs.
They wanted $15,000
Yep.
for a surgery that they didn't know would work or not.
Emotion.
Why wouldn't you just try it? Like, I got to put the dog down anyway. Why don't you just try it? And then if it doesn't make it, it doesn't make it. But if it does, like, look at the experience that medical student got.
So I'm trying to, Grant, Michelle, I'm trying to remember back growing up, where's the nearest meat locker to you guys?
We got one in Newell, Iowa, only 15 miles away. They make really good barbecue pork burgers. They're kind of a homemade recipe. They sell them out the front door there. Yeah, good little locker. We got them scattered all over, really.
I was going to say, because we always took everything down to Tiefenthalers in Holstein.
There you go.
And then obviously they've been growing and doing quite a bit of expansion themselves. But what I saw on Twitter, and I shared it with Corey, I think I sent it to you, Dave, that down at, what was that, Oklahoma or Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Where was that at? Someone had set up a mobile meat locker in a reefer van.
That was
A
cool.
van trailer, a reefer trailer, and a couple of straight trucks to where they could kill it, hang it, and even a couple of the setups with the trailers could actually butcher it on site. Butcher it and package it for you. I actually don't think that'd be such a bad business idea.
I have a friend that does that for wild game. So if he'll come right out to your site and butcher your elk right there and skin it, do the whole works, wash it, and then package it up. And he has a mobile meat trailer that he does it for wild game.
Because I know it's got to be USDA inspected. I know that you have to, and then there's if you're going to sell it, there's other hurdles to cross. But that'd be kind of handy. I mean, especially if you had a calf go down or you had something like that and you didn't have the skills or the time yourself, a business like that to kind of be on call, show up, park the truck out there. I can just see a boom crane hanging out with a winch.
Yep.
Charge double.
Right.
We do it
Because
for
you
the
can't
dog.
you can't get in the locker.
They got the mobile Hog Haven deal, or not Hog Haven, but Hound Haven, and they'll come out and they'll groom your dog on site. It's kind of convenient. And
Well, I didn't know what you were talking about, and when you said groom, I was relieved because that's not the direction I
we're
thought you were
not
going.
going to butcher the dog. I'm talking mobile.
Dave, we don't eat
service.
those in Iowa.
Convenience is worth more than a lot of money anymore. Amazon taught us that. Here's Amazon Prime, and we'll pay for convenience, even if it costs more.
There you go. That's what we can do with the Aronia Berry trailer. Set that up as a meat locker.
Oh, yeah.
Since berries aren't worth nothing.
53 foot of...
Aronia berries aren't worth anything, but what about strawberries? How about that for a transition?
There you go. Do we have...
Really, nobody's going to bail me out on the transition?
What
Here, I'll lead into this.
Ibex?
Hey, Michelle, do you know anything about strawberries?
I know a little bit. I do not know as much in comparison to my father or Richard, but I know a little bit.
So why do you know anything about strawberries?
Do I know anything?
No, I said why. Why do you know about strawberries? What are you guys doing up there?
I see. Well, since you asked, we have a little strawberry farm out here in our little Fonda, Iowa area, and we have 11,000 strawberry plants.
11,000?
Yep, 11,000 strawberry plants.
Yeah,
Yep.
not really little.
This sounds like the last power couple that we had was supposed to start with 6 chickens, and now they had what? 60 chickens?
Oh, yeah.
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 So
And more coming.
so did you start with 6 strawberry plants and now you've got 11,000?
Well, let me tell you about my husband. If he's going to do something, he's going to do it big, right?
Mhm.
And right. So it's been 11,000 from the beginning. This is actually only our second year. Last year was our first year, and it was 11,000 last year as well.
So now what are you doing with the strawberries?
So the strawberries are part of another thing with Biodyne. It's called Ibex Grows, and they actually grow in cloth pots up on benches. So they're not growing down in the ground. They're up on benches. They're about waist high, and they grow in cloth pots, and they're on irrigation, and they grow really, really well. I'm really happy.
We used all the BW nutrition and Biodyne biologicals on them. I didn't know what to expect either, but, I've never been a strawberry guy. I mean, I like strawberries, but I don't like, run in the store to go buy them and that. But boy, you pluck one of those off the vines and put them in your mouth and it's like sugar rush to your head. I mean, they are damn good.
So where do we buy them?
Well, they're you-pick. It's all you-pick. We tried the store thing and we just can't keep them supplied. The demand went wild, and you-pick is way better for us. Get them fresh off the vines, and we don't have to package them and ship them in the stores. So you think out here in Fonda, Iowa, it's like a town of 700 people. You wouldn't think you'd have enough demand, but it's kind of the contrary. In small town Iowa, not much to do. So when there is something to do, you get everybody out doing it. So everybody come out and pick their own, and
Yep.
actually pretty neat.
Did you have very many go to waste?
No, none really. No.
You run down to Louis Vuitton and then you go over and get yourself some strawberries.
Oh my! What's your banker think when you come up with an idea? Like I got this idea. I'm gonna buy 25,000 strawberry. We're gonna put them out somewhere. Does he just go with it, or
I'm gonna guess
she?
it was self-financed, was it not?
Yeah, so. But I'm sure he would, just like everything else. He just said, "Well, can you make money?" And we'll go do it.
Yeah.
So.
Bankers don't like off the beaten path. I found that out with the Aroni berries. I mean, I could sit there and tell them all the time, and I don't know. So,
As I sit here quietly.
yeah, as I eat $60,000 and all my time and effort for the last 6 years.
Oh, see?
So, but didn't know if you don't try, right?
So that's pretty cool. But what if our listeners want to start growing strawberries? How do they get started in this? They just call you up and order it, or how's this work?
No, this is a beta site kind of for Ibex. It's something that, like I said, Michelle's father-in-law is kind of heading up, or Michelle's father and my father-in-law. But if somebody wants to know more, they can go on the Ibex website. Just Google Ibex and talk to Andrew Saul. He can get them all the pro formas and specs and pricing, and they do a lot of stuff. Single bench systems, 12-foot bench systems for homeowners, just something for your family, for like a gardening thing. Keeps them off the ground. They're raised benches, so rabbits, and there's no really rodent issues with them, and you kind of put in a.
Well, the BW
production.
Fusion products make the plants really happy, and so the fruit's really good.
So you sound like a serial entrepreneur. What's next?
Yeah, it's not necessarily about just trying to start businesses up. I don't know. It's just I see something and it comes to me and the vision, and I just go. That's just so I don't know. I guess we'll see what door opens. The big thing I think in business is when a door opens, just knowing when to push the gas pedal to get through it and not hesitating. And really surrounding yourself with good people and to fulfill it. There's no way I could do it all myself, and being able to delegate to the right people and surround yourself with good people really is critical. So, really I see in the future here, BW Fusion is gonna be a leader in the nutritional space. Today we've got reps in 6 or 7 different states now, and you're going to be looking at different facilities to store stuff in, and really it just comes down to. It's not about the money. It's not about any of that. It's really is about exposing the truth to the farmer. I get so sick of this, the salesman that pulls on a farm that's uneducated, has to lie to get a sale, has to mislead them or doesn't know. And the farmers need to be successful. It's actually the last 2, 3, 4 years, it's been painful for farmers, and I've seen a lot of customers struggle, and it's so energizing for me to see here some information that no one's ever been given or seen. And I can tell you, when farmers see it, it's like crack cocaine. They can't get enough of it. They're like, I've never seen this, and I believe in what you're showing me because there's proof. I just think that thing's going to just blow up, and Wells Ag continues to do well. And really, we're not looking to try and get a bunch of businesses. It's just we'll go where we can help people and go where we can benefit others.
So if I wasn't on Ag Twitter and friends with Bodie Kitchell, I would have never known about you guys. I don't think. So what is the best way? I mean, we live 2 hours away, so it's not like you're in my backyard. What is the best way to find you guys, get a hold of a rep, something like that?
So it's Wells Ag Supply. We have a phone number, 712-288-6210. You can go online too and email the info at Wells Ag Supply to inquire. We've got 4 sales guys in Iowa on the road every day. Their outside sales guys can come stop by, and we've got 4 in the office here. So there's always somebody to help answer your phone call. So I'd say just call in or go to the email on the Wells side. If it's Fusion, go to our website. There's reps listed. We have 2 here out of the Fonda location. We've got a couple in the Clear Lake area. Brody, you've met down in more southwest Iowa, and we've got them in Indiana and Nebraska. And so just get a hold of somebody from off the website, and we'll get back to you right away. We've got salespeople ready to jump in to help and show them what we've got.
Well, if this is going to the moon like you say it is, you better get
in and get now
interviewing.
But what we ask all of our guests, Grant and Michelle, before we hang up and move on is, out of the most successful people that you know, specifically the farmers, what do they all have in common?
What do the most successful farmers have in common?
Yep.
I would say an open mind to not getting stuck in conventional ways of doing business. They critically think, they're open-minded, and they're willing to always look and see, could this benefit me somehow? And they're willing to adjust, the way they farm to do it the right way. And that's what I would say. People that are open-minded and have the yearningness to want to be better and get better.
Michelle, would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I was not a farm kid, so all of this I learned from Grant. So yeah, I agree.
So would you rather make bugs or play pro soccer?
Pro soccer.
That's great. Well, if we come across an opportunity for a pro soccer tryout, I'll let you know.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Otherwise, we want to thank you for spending time with us. We know that you spent more than we had expected. We appreciate you hanging out, putting up with our silliness, witnessing us enjoy very good beers while you didn't have them in hand. We apologize for that. We will try and get something set up with Brody sometime when he crosses path, or if I'm cruising up that direction to go see Mom and Dad, maybe I'll swing by and drop them off also. But thank you again for the sponsorship of the podcast. Thank you again for joining us and telling us your story. What do you think, guys?
Yeah. Crack a back pocket brewing beer or mix a bullet whiskey. You deserve it. Thank you, Sammy.